everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm super excited. It's finally my turn. I've been waiting a day and a half. So I get to catch you on the afternoon of day 2. Hopefully you have learned so much information. I think some of the things that we're going to talk about together are going to be a little bit of review, and then I'll give you some more tips and tricks to add to your toolbox, because I know my colleagues have been doing such a fantastic job doing that throughout the day and a half. I'm going to take just a minute or two and just talk to you about who I am and what I do while we let people filter in and get acclimated, make sure sound and everything's working. So my name is Allison Zuccaro. I have been with Stahls for 26 years now. Like to tell people I grew up here. I specialize in a lot of different things, but custom cutting services really is my forte and where I spend a lot of time. So hopefully I can shed some light. Shawn is in the background for us today, so she'll be moderating and she'll feed me questions and I'll answer all of your questions. A few things, housekeeping things that we'll talk about, which I'm sure you heard before, but the deck to the PowerPoint that I'm going to use is in the file section above the chat. Talking about the chat, let's use the chat. Please ask questions. I am coming off of a huge high as far as presentations go. A couple of weeks ago, I was able to do an in-person event in ASI Chicago, and it was amazing. We had a full house and people were so interactive, and there is nothing that can replace that energy that you get from an audience that's feeding you questions and interactive. So I'm going to try super hard today to give that energy to you, and hopefully you'll try super hard to give me that energy back through the computer and the virtual world, so that we can definitely, get that going, and hopefully we can help you. So so that's first and foremost, and I think we are good to go. I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to start with a PowerPoint, go over a few key points with regards to dimensional emblems. We're going to talk a whole bunch of different things, and then we're going to go through the PowerPoint. I'm going to do a deep dive into our artwork upload process. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks and some how-tos on how to upload artwork, what kind of communication that you should expect to receive with regards to service products. And then we'll do a couple applications. Like I said, there'll probably be a little bit of review for you, but you may glean something from my experience that one of my colleagues didn't cover, or something that might work better or different for you. So without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen. Perfect. Okay, so heat press for profit. Obviously, the whole entire event, the ultimate playbook for your t-shirt business success. Let's go to the next slide. Let's see. Oops, sorry. There we go. So we're going to talk about dimensional logos start to finish, and like I said, we're going to cover a few key dimensional logos. We're going to talk about them. I have some samples that are already applied that I can kind of show you. I'll highlight some of the kit items that you received in your marketing kit, which I'm super excited about. And then we'll go into application and how to. Always the fun part, right? Okay, so what is a dimensional logo? Dimensional logos, it's such a broad spectrum of things that can be considered dimensional. So I tried really hard just to put a quick, bullet point idea of what it is. And basically, if it has texture and elevation, you can consider it a dimensional logo. And some of the traditional items that you may be familiar with that could be considered dimensional are, for instance, an embroidery patch, right? It has texture, it has some lift. It's not becoming one with the garment. It's definitely giving you a 3-dimensional look and feel. And it can be all different kinds of ways. Like I said, using texture or creating elevations will give you that dimensional look. So it really does encompass a variety of things. We have a lot of different products that fit into the dimensional emblem category. And so we're going to tick some of those off as we go through and give you some ideas. So branding with dimension, how can you achieve dimensional emblems where branding, and where do you start? And this is, being in the promo space a lot, this is a lot of questions that we get from that market, from customers that want to know what, that whole what to use when grid. And that what to use when grid works really great when you're just looking at flat type transfers, right? Now, when we get into dimension, we're talking about special effects. When do I recommend a special effects product to a customer, and which special effects products do I recommend? So I'm going to give you some tips and some tricks to kind of help you drill down that tunnel and get you to a good spot to make recommendations to your clients. The first and foremost, and probably one of the easiest things to think about when you think about dimensional emblems, is if a product that you're heat applying to, or if the requested product from the customer encompasses some sort of texture or dimension, it would be a really great opportunity to also mimic that with your decoration techniques. So for instance, if you have a towel, let's say, a towel typically has a, that kind of terry cloth, it has a pile to it, right? Think of pile, think of things. Sometimes traditional transfer techniques will work on that, but you'll definitely see that pile coming through. When you go to a dimensional emblem, that's going to help mat it or mute that out a little bit. It's also going to lend to the idea and the whole entire technique and give you that same kind of look and feel. So when you have pile, polar fleece, or some of those really fleecy high pile items, blankets, those are just some, some good relevant examples just to get your brain thinking about texture and when to use it. Another time that you want to use or consider dimensional emblems is really, really, really with branding. Like, you have a lot of branding, a lot of corporate wear, a lot of different, those types of event branding, even promotional, where customers want a different look. When you're creating promotional products and you're creating branding for your clients, everyone, you need to create that differentiate you from, or them from, everyone else, right? How am I going to see the shirt that someone is wearing over and over and over again? You want to give them that different look, that different dimension, if you will, that special effect, that wow factor that's going to get people to pay attention to it. Because let's face it, we want them to employ the business or to solicit the business, right? Like, that's the whole idea behind promotional and branding. But in order to do that, we need something that's going to grab that attention, right? So let's utilize some different dimensions to do that. Those are some of the biggest things. And then third and foremost is moms. I mean, I'm just going to call us out. I mean, there's a whole bunch of other fan wear and that sort of thing. Schools and all of those things can use the dimensions as well, because it's definitely going to elevate them and give them an extra special touch. But moms are suckers. I hate to say that. I am a sucker for dimensional emblems. If it has glitter, if it has bling, if it has texture, if it's fuzzy, it's going to grab me in. So when you're thinking about giving that elevated look to something, focus a little bit on, some of the moms or some of the fans that are out there that'll definitely kind of make that, girly look, if you will. So how can you choose which ones to use? So we have heat transfer vinyl. So heat transfer vinyl is your, standard heat transfer vinyl. We've talked about, Jenna did a presentation a little bit earlier talking about HTV and cutting it. And that's always an option. Two heat transfer vinyls that you can use with texture and dimension would include the silicone and the soft foam. There's several others, but silicone and soft foam are definitely two of the options that are available to you. You can cut them yourself in-house. You can employ Stahls to cut them for you. HTV is going to be great for single color images. You can do multiple color. I wouldn't go any more than 2 layers because of the layering that's going to be needed and the layout that's required, but you can definitely, single color is going to be the best way to go, and really, really great. And I'll show you a couple examples when I go off PowerPoint onto the screen. We'll talk about them. Digital. So when we talk about full color, if you have a design that has more than 2 colors in it, or it has gradients and shadings, or it definitely is something that's going to need some full color enhancements to it, you're going to want to go with a full color or a digital option. And there's several. But two of the popular ones are the soft foam. So we have the soft foam and a CAD cut single color. So this is a single color, full color roll of material that you're going to cut and weed and heat apply. But we also have the opportunity to print a white soft foam. So you get that nice foam dimension, but some really great color. And it's not going to create a nightmare for you where you have to piece a bunch of different pieces together to get that effect. So that's a fun option that's available. And then we have the glitter flake as well in the CAD Prints line, and the CAD Prints Permatwill. So CAD Prints Permatwill is one of those like underlying products that's always there in the background, but you know, I think it's underutilized, and it's a really great way to get that patch or that embroidery look without having to sew anything, without having to digitize anything, without having to invest a lot of money or setup time in getting something set up. So the CAD Prints Permatwill, it's your standard twill woven fabric that's white that we print on, and it gives a full color. So you can, again, get gradients and shadings. You can get some really great text definition there if you get some smaller text. And the greatest thing about it is it's laser cut, so it's not going to fray around the edges, and you can just heat press it down. So you're going to get that woven fabric look without having to embroider anything. So it's definitely an elevated look and dimensional. And then in the next level category, we have all of the others, and that's your flex style, your leather patches, your embroidery patches, your three-dimensional embroidery. And this is the next level. Like, this is when you have the client that really says, I want something completely different. I'm not worried about cost. I just want to elevate my brand. I want to show people what we can do, show me something cool. This is what you really want. This is where you want to go. So your heat transfer vinyl is going to be your low minimums, 5 pieces if you're ordering from us. If you're cutting it yourself, obviously you can just do 1. Low color and probably economical. Your digital is going to be full color. You're going to have a little bit higher minimums if you're getting services from Stahls. If you're doing it yourself, again, you can do just 1, and probably a little bit more in that mid-range as far as pricing goes. And then your next level is going to be, so we've kind of got your good, better, best, if you will. Your next level is going to be your, above and over the top, and, probably 25 piece minimum for all of these products, which isn't, astronomical. But not 5 pieces like some of the others, and definitely a little bit more cost there as far as price for logos. So we touched on this a little bit, single color versus full color and when to use what. So we talked about the CAD cut silicone. So CAD cut silicone is a CAD cut material, and I'm going to talk about the silicone and the soft foam and kind of side by side simultaneously, because they are similar, but they're different as well. So you have the CAD cut silicone, and CAD cut silicone is very matte. The soft foam is matte as well. So they both have a matte finish to them. The CAD cut silicone is really, really great for blocking dye migration. That's what it was created for. That's what it's meant to do. It is going to, if you have sublimated garments or sublimated soccer jerseys or sublimated anything that you have any inclination is going to dye migrate, and you need single color or, even 2 color designs, CAD cut silicone is really a great option for you. It's great for numbers. It's great for names. It's great for logos. It's great for everything. The other, outside of that realm, you can use CAD cut silicone to give you some dimension. So if you look at the silicone and you look at the soft foam, we're going to talk microns here as far as thickness goes. So silicone is about 200 microns. So it definitely has a feel when it's on the garment. You can definitely feel it. You can definitely see it. And again, I'll show you these side by side in a minute. But it's also going to have that, because it is a silicone material, it's going to have that sort of rubbery feel to it. So it's going to feel kind of like, almost like a balloon, if you will, if you've never felt a silicone before. And we see silicone all day long in the retail space. on, some of your high-end sports brands. You pick up some of your high-end sports brands, Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, you'll feel something kind of rubbery on it. That's a silicone type transfer. So that's what we're talking about. Since I don't have that smell-o-vision, if you will, where I can hand it out to you and have you feel it, that'll give you some sort of idea of what we're talking about. The soft foam on the other side it has a foam feel to it. So it's not going to have a rubbery texture. It's foam, almost like those, real similar to those foam sheets that we use in crafting. It kind of has that sort of feel. Again, I'm trying to just give you attainables here to get you some sort of idea. And as far as thickness goes, microns, it's 500 microns minimum. So you have a substantial pile difference there. So you're talking 200 with silicone, 500 with soft foam. So it's about double the thickness there. So that gives you some sort of idea. And again, your silicone and your soft foam are going to be your single color options. In some cases, again, if you just have a couple to do, you can do multiple colors. We wouldn't layer them on top of each other. We'd piece them together. I know we've talked about that in a couple other presentations, but just so you know. If you need full color, right? If we get into full color, then that's where we're going to go to the printable soft foam and the CAD Prints Permatwill. And these are some great samples for you of looks. So single color, CAD cut, full color, CAD color, or CAD prints. That's sort of that realm. And then this next slide talks about,
Allison,
yes.
we have a question from Rich.
Absolutely.
If you want 2 sizes of one logo in the Permatwill on an order, is that 2 separate fees and 2 submissions, or is it possible to do it in one?
So the great thing about that is it is going to be 2 separate submissions, but as far as fees go, we only charge art fees if you submit us a raster image. So with the CAD prints line, if you have vector art, we will not charge you an art fee whatsoever. In the case of 2 sizes, let's say, for instance, you have a left chest and a full front, and you do have a raster image, we're only going to charge you 1 raster image fee. So we'll charge you one $20 fee to set up the first one, and then we'll waive it on the second one because it's the exact same art, we're just resizing it. And the reason why we do that is because when we receive raster images, we need to, for production, create cutting files to coincide with that. And so now we have to do some redrawing there. There isn't any, when you talk about raster versus vector, with raster artwork, there's pixels, there's not lines. And with vector, there's lines. So it's much easier for us to resize and create cutting production files when we have vector art. So if you can get your hands on vector art, that's the way to go to avoid all fees whatsoever. But if you have raster, we're happy to take it. We're just going to need a little bit more to make it happen for you. Do we have any other questions, Shauna?
That's it for right this minute. And Rich says, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Good question, Rich. So let's move on to the flex style, the next level transfers, right? So when to use these versus, and this is what we're going to cover. Flex style texture and flex style dome. We have actually 4 different effects that you can get with flex style. These are the 2 most popular. We have the flex style texture. It has texture to it. Every single piece of this image, when it comes back to you, with the exception of some really thin lines, will always have texture to them. Flex style dome is going to be your smooth. It's going to have raise and elevation to it, but for the most part, it's going to have smoothness. We may add some dimension or textures to it when it lends itself well to the artwork. But if it doesn't, we'll just leave it nice and smooth, and then we'll give you some doming effects in there. We also have a product that's flex style flat, and this is kind of in between the 2. So it gives you that smooth surface look that you want, but it doesn't have doming. It's almost like it's a raised surface, but it's one level. So you won't get elevations in it. And the flat works really, really good for, a lot of branding, a lot of corporate. We see a lot of corporate logos if it has a lot of full color. And then the last one that we'll talk about, just so that you have some, information about it, is bevel. And bevel is, it's the design in the Flex Style line that has the most lift. It's going to be the thickest. It's going to be the most prominent as far as the lift and dimension goes. You can get some really great like points and geometric shapes to it. And it's really great for decoration on caps, or even if you're doing stickers on hard goods, which we're going to do one of those applications as well. It lends itself really, really great to that, because it is very more prominent, and it's definitely got some feel and weight to it. So those are the 4 different textiles, the Flex Styles. And, you know, some of them are just going to depend on art and, you know, look, the artwork, what the customer really wants. But there are actually 4. The textured and the dome are the 2 most popular. Leather patches is another one. And leather patches is that vintage, genuine leather. It is genuine leather. When you open up a package of leather patches, you get, if you're like me and you go to the leather store and you can smell that leather, you're going to get that same nostalgia, so to speak. So it's definitely, leather patches are definitely nostalgic. But they're huge right now. You know, it's really great, you know, for rugged things, and, you know, just to kind of give you that throwback vintage look. It's definitely taking off. Leather is becoming really popular. So, and the leather patches that we currently offer are genuine leather. So they're real leather patches. And then we have the 3-dimensional embroidery. 3-dimensional embroidery is your standard embroidery patch with some foam inside of it. So it's going to give you that dimension, that pop, that lift in areas that we can do it, and that are going to lend itself well to the artwork. So this is that, you know, you see a lot of sports, a lot of hats, a lot of mascots. You know, we do see some branding with it as well. But that's what we're talking about when we're talking about 3D embroidery. So more simple designs, not small text, not super fine detail, but definitely going to give you some, you know, dimension and elevation. Okay, so we've talked about a few different things. Let's talk about how to order them. How do I order these products? So we have the producing yourself on one side of the slide, and we have the ordering and services on the other side of the slide. And this is where I said that deck is in the files if you want to reference it later on. Some of these slides will be, you know, just pretty, but some of them are going to be important content. And this is one of those content slides. If you're not quite sure and you go later on, where did she say to go to order this? This will be a great reference for you. So if you're going to produce it in-house, you're going to order the materials yourself to do so. And that will be CAD cut and CAD color. So your CAD cut silicone, your CAD cut soft foam, your CAD color soft foam, those will be where you will find those products, and you can cut them, you know, on, we saw Jenna cut some of those CAD cut materials on a Cricut, all the way up to, you know, full-fledged 54-inch sign. And we even have materials that you can cut with laser. So that's your CAD cut line. Your CAD color line is going to be eco-solvent printer. So you need to have an eco-solvent printer that you could do full color process printing to create some of those logos on. And the greatest thing about all of this is if you don't have either one of those, that's okay. We can do it for you. And we do this all day long. And this is how a lot of customers get started. Let Stahls do the work for you and come back later on and upgrade and get some more equipment and then bring it in-house. So if you're going to order services, if you don't have the capacity to cut it in-house or print it in-house, you're going to go to custom cut for your silicone and your soft foam. You're going to go to CAD prints, which is our digitally printed, where your permatwill will be, your glitter flake, all those fun things. And then emblems and patches is where you will find the next level transfers that we're going to talk about. So, so that just kind of gives you a roadmap, if you will, on where you're going to go. All right. So I am going to, before I go into the artwork uploader and how to do that, I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen for a hot second. And I'm going to go on camera, and I want to show you, like I said I would, I want to show you some of the the designs that we have. And I want to show you the differences between some of the transfers that we have. So let me just take my technology here and make this bigger so that I can see what I'm doing and I can stop sharing.
While you're doing that, Allison,
Yeah,
there's a question from Dundee.
sure.
Are there plans to offer faux leather for customers who are price sensitive?
My goodness, I was kind of hoping someone would ask that question. Yes, there is plans in the works. As fast as we can get it out there. So we have a great resource for it. It'll be forthcoming relatively quickly. And the faux leather is really nice. There'll be multiple color options available. The price points will be a little less expensive. And the nice thing about the faux leather is that with genuine leather, you have the warping or the distortion when you launder it. Like it will last. I've washed several leather multiple times and it's okay. But with a lot of laundering, it's going to warp and just change shape, just like if you threw your leather jacket in the wash, right? Like it's not something we normally do. But the faux leather is amazing because you can wash it over and over and over again, and you're not going to have any degradation and any misshapen. So it'll definitely give you that better look. So yes, look for it. I would say within the next 2 months, but hopefully 30 days. Okay.
Another question for
Yes.
the dimensional products, are they from Stahls and not Transfer Express, correct?
Yes, that is 100% correct. All of the dimensional products that we're talking about in this presentation are all Stahls products. So they are all going to be from Stahls.
And then one last one, Rich is asking, will the faux leather still leave marks on the foam pad?
That's a really great question, Rich. And I don't know because I personally have not tested the faux leather application yet, but I will, and I will let you know. And I do actually have a trick for that, which I'm going to show you when I heat apply some leather in a few minutes. So hopefully that will be a moot point, but I honestly don't know the answer to that question and I'm sorry, but I will definitely, it gives me something to test for sure. All great questions. Okay, so let's show you some of the things that we talked about. So first of all, I wanted to show you, let's see what we have here. Okay, so here's the soft foam. And the soft foam it's got a couple different things I want to show you. So first and foremost, here it is, full, and you can feel it. Like I said, it's definitely got some feel to it, but I'm going to try to lay it out for you so you can see. Maybe you can't, but if you can see the dimension that's there, like it's definitely raised up. Oh, there's a thread, but you can see it's definitely raised up and it has that foam look. Okay. And then the soft foam in the colors that are available, it has textured colors. So we have these really great colors that have some texture already into them. And I'm hoping if I can catch the light, you can see that there's almost like, I would say almost like a tree bark look running through these different soft foams. So you even have texture with it inside of dimension in just a standard CAD cut that you can cut. And this is obviously a 3-color. Notice none of the colors are overlapping. They're just touching each other, but you get that sort of nice raised feel, nice and soft. And then I have a silicone example I want to show you as a comparison. So here's the silicone. And again, it definitely has, it's definitely matted and it definitely has that rubber feel, like I try to explain as best as I could. But you can see there is a little dimension there, but it's not half as high, again, as the foam is. And just for comparison, if you have your marketing kit out, you've got a marketing kit and you have it out, you have these 2 samples. And if you just take the white carrier off the back and feel them, you'll definitely feel the difference and the thickness between the 2. And if I show you, hold on. You can see, again, if I hold that up there. So this is the foam. Okay. And then here's the silicone. Both clear carriers for easy layout, but you can definitely see there's some height difference. So reference that marketing kit if you have it, because that will be super helpful. I'm super excited about that. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to show you the CAD prints per Matwell. So here's a full color. You can see that really great like tie-dye pattern with some really good text on a cap, but you get that woven sort of look. And it definitely has some dimension. And again, just totally heat applied. All right. I'm not heat applying any of these samples. So I wanted to give you, some reference points for what finished products look like. Because we're going to heat apply leather and 3D. And then we're going to do a cup with a flex style, a pressure sensitive. All right. Any questions? And I'm going to start sharing my screen again. Shauna, if you have any questions, you can shoot them to me while I do this.
Yep. So we have a question. Can I use my Hotronix cap press for the patches and not the 360?
That's a really great question. And the answer is yes. We are always going to recommend that you use the 360 if you have access to it, because it is going to be the best way. Anytime you're doing any patches, the more, when you have dimension and thickness, if you can create that heat sandwich with heat from the top and heat from the bottom, it's definitely going to be the better way for you to go. If you don't have that availability, it's okay. We have amended application instructions on our website that will tell you if you're using a standard cap press, use this, this, and this application instructions. However, the one product you will not want to heat apply without lower heat is the 3-dimensional embroidery. So it's just so thick and requires so much heat and dwell time that you're not going to, I don't want to set you up to fail. And so it'd be better off if you did have, but we can help you there too. So, number one is we do have customers that we know have it. So we can do some sharing if you need to do something like that. And they can help you with e-application. But hopefully by the time we're all said and done and you get your business going and you get started, you're definitely going to see why a 360 is going to be really important, and why you need to get there anyway. So even if you set that as a goal for yourself, but yeah, you can. Most of them you can do. That's the short
And then
answer. Yep.
A question from Aaron is, could you please review the last patch product that you just showed?
The CAD prints per Matwell?
That would be it.
Yep. So it's a full color digital transfer. Can you see my camera? I don't know where I'm at now.
It's kind of small, but you
Okay.
gave her the product, so.
All right. So yeah, it's the CAD prints per Matwell. It's a full color digital transfer on a woven fabric. And I'm going to actually in the upload show you some more information about it. So that'll be helpful. Okay. Shauna, can you tell me, are you seeing my website? Are you seeing my presentation?
I see your website.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So when you are on Stahls.com and you need to send us artwork, that's what we're going to talk about now. You are going to get a custom cut service from us. You're not going to cut it yourself. I'm going to walk you through a couple key points on uploading your own artwork and give you a few tips and, show you some things that will hopefully help you. First and foremost, on the very main page, you're on the main page of Stahls.com. Up here in the very top right-hand corner is this artwork upload button. That is where you're always going to want to go if you want to send us artwork for services. If you are not logged into the website, when you click here, it's going to give you a login and it's going to ask you to log into the website, because we're going to take you to your artwork dashboard. That's where all of your custom art's going to be. So we need you to log in so that we can track that. Okay. If you are logged in already, like I am, it's gonna say hi and then your name, then you'll know you're logged in, and you'll be on this main page. All right. You have a couple different options. If you go to my art dashboard, it's going to take you to all of your existing artwork that's sitting out there, whether it's in process, whether it's in approved, ready to order, whether you've ordered it already so you can do your own reorders. It's all going to be in this one dashboard location. Below that, we have the custom logo cost estimator. This is your best friend. You can be working on a quote for a client at 3 o'clock in the morning. You do not have to employ anybody from Stahls. You can get your own cost estimations. You do not have to upload artwork to do this. So you just need to know what is it that you want, how many colors and how many pieces. So I encourage everyone, bookmark this, use this logo cost estimator. It's the holy grail. I use it all the time. When customers ask me for price quotes, this is where I go, because I can key in a couple keys, maybe 5 clicks I have to make. I can get a price, and we give you pricing from 0 all the way up to the highest price break. So I'm just going to show that to you really quick so you can see how quick and easy it is. So if you click on the custom logo cost estimator, it's going to ask you what service you want. And as we go through this, you're going to see by all these different bullet points, there's going to be these little eyes, and these little eyes are information. So if you don't know what something is and you hover over this eye, it's going to pull down a screen for you that's going to tell you CAD prints is a full color design, embroidery patches provide the classic look of embroidery. It's going to give you some information. And then you can always go to that specific product page to get more detailed information. But we're going to talk about CAD prints permatwill, because that was the last question that we had. So let's just go right to it. So like I said, it's a CAD print service, full color. It's going to be in CAD prints. You're going to select that. It's going to ask you, because we have a lot of CAD prints products. So it's going to ask you which CAD prints product you're looking for. We're looking for a digital transfer or logo. We don't need floor graphics or banners or stickers. This is something we're going to put on a garment. So we want a transfer or a logo. As we scroll down, it's going to ask us what we're putting this on. We ask you this question to try to help you drill down to the best product suited for your application, right? If you're heat applying to nylon, we have products and custom cut surfaces that do not adhere to nylon. Those will gray out for you if you choose a nylon application, because we don't recommend them. And so we try to give you as much information as we can and help drill you down. We will ask you this for every single custom upload that you do. We're always going to ask you what you're putting it on. We're going to ask you if it's on dark and light for the exact same reason. We have some products that don't heat apply well onto dark, some of our clears. So we're just going to choose dark. And now it's going to ask me what product do I want. And there's a whole bunch, express prints, just your standard, glitter flake, we touched on a little bit, but we want permatwill. So I'm going to choose the permatwill. The permatwill is available to get a sew file with. So if you want to take it one step further for your customer and give them that finished stitch border, you can order a sew file to sew around the edge for $25 on your embroidery machine. So pretty easy, but we're going to say no. And now in order to get a price, it's just going to ask me for the size. So we're going to go with, we're going to say it's a round left chest. So we're going to do 2.5 by 2.5, because Mark Schwarb told us yesterday that that's probably the max size we want to do on a cap press. And so now it's going to give me a price quote. So pretty quickly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps, we have a price, and it's going to tell me the minimum, because we have a $25 minimum with CAD prints products. So it's going to tell me my minimum piece count is going to be 17. That's the MOQ. And it's going to be $1.54 each. If I order 500, they're going to be 98 cents a piece. Okay. I don't have to upload any artwork to get a price. I don't have to go any further. I can navigate away from this page. I'm done. I have what I need. Let's say I do want to do that though. I can put my quantity in here or not. And if I continue to go down, it's going to give me the button to upload my art. So I can at this point, oh yeah, that's a really great price. I want to proceed. I'll click upload my art, and then it'll take me to the browser to do that. Okay, so use this custom logo cost estimator all day long. If you want to know more about uploading artwork user guide, some of the things I'm going to touch on, you can download it here to reference later on. And then when we talk about CAD prints, we have a digital color palette. These are our Stahls colors that you can reference if you want to have something printed in a Stahls color. So that's what those 3 things are. All right, but we're going to start from scratch. Like, we know exactly what we want. We just have to get Stahls the artwork. So the first thing that we're going to do when we're uploading artwork is we're going to browse to attach a file. And we're going to go to this handy dandy folder that I have. We're going to navigate to wherever it is on your computer that you have saved the file. And I'm going to choose this artwork because this is one of the leather patches that we're going to actually heat apply. And I'm going to click open. And when I do that, notice I know it's working. And so we're analyzing this file to find out if it's raster or vector and some size information. And that's to help us streamline this process for you. And while this is analyzing this, we can continue down the path. We don't have to stop. We can keep going and it'll just keep doing this. We're going to choose leather patch because that's what we want. The leather patches are available in a heat applied version and a pressure sensitive. So heat applied is what you're going to use on textiles and fabrics. Pressure sensitive is a sticker. So you can stick it to hard, smooth surfaces. But we're going to do heat applied. It's going to ask us some options. Again, what are you heat applying it to? Notice nylon's not listed because we do not recommend nylon application with leather patches. So we're going to choose a cotton poly blend. We're going to choose that it's dark because it's a charcoal gray hoodie that we're going to do. We're going to choose a color. These are the 3 colors of leather that we have. We have a caramel. We have a natural, which is the lightest of the 3. And then we have a taupe, which is almost kind of like a darkish gray brown look to it. A little more muted and kind of classic looking, if you will. So I'm going to choose natural because that's what we did with the coffee. And then we have 3 different contrast options: low, medium, and high. Medium, people want to go toward it because they think, oh, that's the middle of the road. The patches look best in low and or high. High usually is the way to go. And the natural one that we're going to do application is a high contrast. So I'm going to choose high. Next thing it's asking me is select a shape. So you can upload artwork to us that has a shape in it. And this artwork, if I scroll up, because it should be done analyzing now, it's not for some reason. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time. There would be a thumbnail image there. And this artwork is actually a circle. So actually, let me see if I can show it to you. Yeah, so here. So this is the artwork. So it is a circle. So, and this is the original artwork that I just was attempting to upload. So you can upload artwork that's already the shape that you want, or you can upload just Mac and Joe's with the cup and the beanery and bakery below it. And then you can tell us what you'd like us to do with that. All right, let's go back to my artwork uploader. So I'm going to choose, do I want a geometric shape or a custom shape? A custom shape would not be a geometric. Let's say you want to contour the image. If I choose geometric shapes, it's going to give me a list of standard geometric shapes that these are the most common ones that we see customers order. In this case, I would choose circle. And then if it was analyzing, which it's not for some reason, it would allow me to enter a size. If I don't want a geometric shape and I want to go with a custom shape, if I choose the custom shape option, it's going to ask me, do you want to contour the shape of the art, or my artwork already includes a shape? So if you just had text and you wanted a contour around there, you would choose contour the shape of my art. But if you have mountain, this logo here, that's a shield, and you have the shield in the artwork, you would click my art already includes a shape. And that's letting us know, I want you to follow the shape of my artwork. Okay, so I'm not quite sure why it is not uploading, and I do apologize. So I'm going to, it's not going to let me stop either. Oh, okay, so analysis failed. So I'm going to go and do a new file, and I'm going to show you, let's do a 3D embroidery. Just let's see how that works. Let's see, which one was I using for 3D? Oh, let's do a flex style. We can do flex style, see if this works. Let's go in again. Okay, so I uploaded a new piece of artwork for flex style, and this one works, yay. So notice what happens, upload, analyze, thumbnail. And now the thumbnail image is really important because it lets me know this is the design that I want. Yes, I've uploaded the right design, the correct one. So when we're choosing flex style, I'm going to choose the flex style by Stahls. And then it's going to ask me what finish do I want. And again, if I click on this eye or hover over this eye, it's going to tell me all the options that are available. This basketball logo is a textured. So I'm going to choose textured, and notice I have a heat applied option or a pressure sensitive option. I'm going to choose heat applied. This is remembering what I had chose for the leather patch option, which I can continue that or I can change it. If I choose light, it's going to allow me to choose a clear media, which it has some clearness to it and it's kind of shiny. But if I choose dark, it's not going to allow me to choose clear. So I'm going to be able to choose matte or metallic. So Flex Style is available in a matte finish, which is what we're going to use today, or a metallic finish. So it gives you that nice metallic, really kind of chromy sheen to it. Choose matte, and then it's going to ask me for a size. The really great thing about the artwork uploader is that if I only know my width, I want my width to be 2.5, it'll automatically compute my size based on my artwork that I've uploaded. So it will figure that out for me. So 2.5 by 2.5, like I said, that's a maximum size for a cap. And then I need to name my artwork. So I'm just going to put State Basketball. And then in the special instructions, this is free form text. I can put whatever I want in here. So I might say, let me know if this isn't the best option. Or sometimes people put, I'm not quite sure. Can you call to discuss? Or some people put change the year, like if this had a year in it, or change the state from Florida to Nebraska, whatever it is that you want us to do. You can put anything in there. You can put hello Stahls or we love you. We'll take that too. And then in the quantity price breaks, notice in step number 7, it's going to tell me how much it's going to cost for 25 as a minimum order quantity, all the way up to 100,000 pieces. Okay. I don't have to put a quantity in here. If I do put a quantity in here though, it will give me an estimate of what the extended price will be at 50. So at 50 pieces, I know I'm going to spend $196.50. It's giving me an art setup fee, which is $26. That's half off. We're running a special through the year. So the setup fees are half off. So my total estimated price is here. Lastly, in step number 8, and I can't stress this enough, I always tell people this is probably the most important section to pay attention to, and it's your contact information. When you set up an online account to shop with Stahls online, a lot of companies set up one account for multitude of people that are using it. And so it's really, really, really important in that case specifically that we give a first, a last name, a relevant email, and a relevant phone number. Because if there is any question about your artwork, we're going to want to get a hold of you the quickest way possible. And so we're going to try to email or call you. And if we don't have the relevant, pertinent information, it could go to a group folder and sit until someone figures out what it's supposed to be. So give us good contact information so that we can get to you quickly. And so many people just skip over this step because it pre-populates with whatever the registration name is. And I'm giving you all my go ahead.
You have less than 5 minutes.
I know. All right. I'm giving you all my email address. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're going to finish. We're going to leave this and then we're going to submit artwork and it's going to go. And then what happens is we're going to go and review it for you. And then if we have any questions whatsoever, we're going to call you and ask you. We're going to tell you if there's any additional fees. And then what we'll do is once we get everything set up for you, we'll upload the proof. And then you can see the different statuses that are available here. And then you'll be able to approve it and proceed with ordering. Okay. That is the upload in a nutshell. There's a lot more that I could talk about, but I do want to at least get to one heat application because I did promise you that I would do that. So I am going to stop sharing my screen again, and I'm going to go back to my camera and let's heat apply this leather patch on this woman's hoodie. And I'm actually going to use the cap press. So can you see me okay, Shauna?
Yes.
All right, cool. You
While you're
can
walking,
go for it.
Sure.
Yep.
While you're walking over there, a couple of ladies would like to know if they heard correctly that they can stitch patches to caps or garments using their embroidery machine.
Yeah, so the CAD Prints Permatwill is just a permatwill that's woven, so it doesn't have a finished edge. And yes, you can absolutely stitch that to a cap or a garment using an embroidery machine. And we can provide you with a sew disc that will stitch around the outside of it. If you go with an embroidered patch or a 3-dimensional embroidered patch, you wouldn't need to do that because it's already stitched and it's just a heat application. So it's an unnecessary step. But the CAD prints permatwill, you are correct. Okay, so I have this woman's Carhartt hoodie. And I cheated a little bit because I always say I'm left chest challenged and I'm short. I'm vertically challenged as well. So it's always better for me to lay out a left chest when it's down low and I can look above it. Okay. So I pre-taped this, but I'm going to give you my little hints that have worked for me as of late. I haven't done anything too crooked yet. First of all, when you're lining up left chest, it's really good to kind of center the design in this seam right here, right? So I centered the design. But I'm using, and what I did was I put this hoodie on, I zipped it up and I went in the mirror and I went, ooh, this is where it looks. And I'm a finger measurer. A lot of people like to measure with, they want to use lasers or T-squares or, you know, ruler measurements, and that's fine. I am not that person. I am a mom of many and I go all over the place and I'm going quick. So I need to use things that I have available, and my hands are not going to change size anytime soon. So I use 4 fingers from this seam is what I did for this one. And then when I measured it in the mirror after I had it on, it was literally a hand, like from here to the top of this seam was one of my hands. And that's what I literally used to place this measurement. I'm using our blue heat resistant thermotape to tape it down so that it's all ready and I can just take it over to the heat press. I'm using the cap press to do this because I have the 360 cap because I was going to heat apply a cap. And it has lower heat already. And I'm going to dress it on here. And what I'm going to do, let me get it on here and show you. I'm going to unzip it and I'm actually going to put it on, you can see me, sort of sideways like this. Okay. And I'm not going to heat apply it with the tape on, because the tape is going to give me a little bit of a, the tape is going to give me a little bit of a mark on the patch if I heat apply it with the tape on, and I don't need it because I have lower heat on here. What it's going to do is the patch is actually going to start sticking to this already because it's hot. And so it's actually going to start to stick. So as it does that, and as I place it on here, I can remove the tape because again, I was just trying to get it over here and lay it out someplace else. Yeah. What's happening? Sorry. There we go. Okay. All right. And so then we're going to cover it with our foam pad, the thinnest one, and we're going to heat apply it. Now, remember I said I was going to teach you a trick for heat application with not having to worry about getting the leather markings on the foam pad. Craft paper. So we have craft paper. Craft paper is one of those kind of throwaway cover sheets, which we can use over and over and over again. So it's not super expensive. This is kind of a scrap. I just cut it down to be the size of the cap press. It's not going to impede the application at all because it's so thin. So I'm going to place that down, and then I'm going to place my thinnest foam pad over top of it. Okay. Whenever we're doing heat applications with dimensional emblems on the 360, we're always using 320 bottom, 280 top. Leather is a 30-second application. So we're just going to lock it in place, and then it's going to pop up and we'll be good to go. I actually have it set. Yeah, we're at 30 seconds. So while that's doing that, Shauna, any other questions? Because I know I'm over now.
I have 3 for you. So
Okay.
Is there a heat applied embroidery patch you would recommend for 100% poly polo style shirt? That's from Kelly.
Yes, yeah, the heat applied embroidery, you can use the CAD prints permatwill, or you can use our traditional embroidery patches. We'll go on polo 100% polyester, no problem at all.
Aaron wants to know what dimensional logo product you recommend for chunky beanie caps, leather and.
Oh, the embroidery works really good. Here, I have a great example. Ugh. So here's one of those chunky beanie caps, and this is the standard embroidery that we heat applied on this chunky beanie cap. So this works really good. Leather works great too. Good, two good options.
Looks nice. And then Julie says she does embroidery and she marks her spot for embroidery with soap. Can she do the same with transfers?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, as long as it will go later on, if that helps you, there's soap, there's even some like fabric crayons that a lot of embroiders or even seamstresses use. Those will be fine because it's wipe away. So you can get rid of it when you're done with your application. So that's not going to hurt anything.
That's it.
Any other questions?
Not right now.
Cool. Okay. So this should be good and we're good. The only one thing that I do tell people with regards to any of the dimensional emblems is that I always say apply today, deliver tomorrow. All of our dimensional fabrics, whether you're putting it on a textile substrate or a hard good, has what we recommend is a 24-hour cure period. So while this adhesive is warm, if I start picking at it, I'm probably going to be able to get this off. But tomorrow, no way. So heat press today, deliver to your customer tomorrow, because this definitely has some lift to it. You can see it, right? We can feel it. So your customer is just like me. They're going to want to start picking at this. So give yourself a little insurance policy, heat apply the day before you want to deliver to your customer. So thank you all so much. I'm so sorry I went over, but thank you so much for sticking with me. And, there's a ton of things that you guys are learning, but the cap press question was great. Pick up a cap press. You're not going to regret it. It's definitely going to be a game changer for you. It's growing immensely. There's so many other things that you can heat press with it. And don't discredit dimensional. Get some samples. Self promo is the best way to get it in front of your client. Order your corporate logo, create a logo that you can use, do a 5-piece sample run with some of our dimensional products, create some samples that you can show customers. It's a really low investment to show them a full, customized, definitely high-end finish. So thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful day and enjoy the next session.